Hello everyone and welcome back to the Progresspeterian, and in case any of you did not see my last video, I am not sponsored by Justice Democrats. I am just wearing this sweatshirt because I think it's a cool sweatshirt and I think the Justice Democrats are a cool organization. That's all. I am not sponsored by them whatsoever. Now on to today's the topic for this video. I saw this headline from the Wall Street Journal when I woke up, and it really annoyed me. Not because of the Wall Street Journal reporting on it. I'm actually glad they're reporting on it, but look at what it says here. White House to tighten work requirements for food stamp aid. Rule limiting state discretion could make hundreds of thousands ineligible for assistance. So, in case any of you did not know, earlier this year, the Trump administration announced plans to kick about 3 million people off food stamps because, yay, we're Republicans, we hate the poor, ha ha ha. So, the Wall Street Journal further elaborates here by saying, the Trump administration is set to tighten work requirements for recipients of federal food aid, potentially rendering hundreds of thousands of people ineligible for the program by mid-2020. The administration said Wednesday that it had completed a new rule curbing states' ability to shield adults without dependence from federal work requirements tied to receiving assistance through the program formerly administered via food stamps. Officials say the rule, which takes effect April 1st, 2020, will save the government billions of dollars and encourage more people to work at a time when jobless rates are near a 50-year low. Okay, well, I'm just going to pause right there and say jobless rates being near a 50-year low means nothing, okay? Wages are still stagnant, okay? Around 76% of Americans still live paycheck to paycheck. Half of the country makes less than $30,000 a year. So, unemployment rate's being low. That means nothing, okay? So I just wanted to say that. And also, it could save the government billions of dollars. Yeah, but I would rather spend dollars where starving people get food. Call me crazy. So then, it basically, the rest of the article explains the, how the rule is going to take effect and what the elements of it are. But near the end, it says here that, at the end, that the USDA estimates that the new rule will affect about 1.1 million people and that 223,000 might no longer get benefits after it takes effect. The USDA projects it will save the government $12.8 billion over 10 years following implementation. Yes, it'll save them $12.8 billion over the course of, from the cost of people starving. That's what it will do. But, oh my gosh. And you know what even annoys me more about this is that the Democrats are not talking about this on Twitter. They're still focused on the stupid Ukraine scandal right now, and the whole impeachment thing. Which, don't get me wrong, okay? Yeah, I think Trump shouldn't have done what he did with Zelensky. But if you're going to impeach him, you got to go after him on more than just Ukraine. Like, they're not going after him on violating the Emoluments Clause or having how his first military action as president killed an 8-year-old American girl in Yemen. Her name is Nawar al-Awlaki, by the way. They're not impeaching him over that. They're just impeaching him over the Ukraine nonsense, which, even though, yeah, he shouldn't have done what he did there, you gotta go more than that, okay? And maybe this is why that they're only focusing on Ukraine, the Democrats, is because they don't really care if Republicans cut food stamps, because they're not affected by that, okay? Like, most of the Democrats in Washington right now are pretty wealthy still. Like my senator, Mark Warner, who is a Democrat, he's like the wealthiest senator right now. So he doesn't care. Like, I haven't seen a single word from him or any of the other Democrats about this. They're not calling out Trump for kicking people off food stamps. If they did do this, the Democrats would win more elections, but they're not discussing this. But anyway, now that I'm done ranting about the Democrats not having a spine, I want to just debunk some of the nonsense that Republicans and other right-wingers say about food stamps. A lot of them, I've seen so many of them give the common complaint to me, like, oh my gosh, we gotta cut food stamps because there's people who are just living off of them. They're cheating the system, so we gotta cut them. Okay, what about the phrase that we were all taught when we were younger, that nothing's perfect? That no one is perfect? And even though that's the reality, the rate of fraud in terms of the food stamp program is pretty dang low. And Forbes, of all outlets, reports here that when compared, or if you are concerned, then consider the following. The total cost of the SNAP benefits dispersed in 2016 was $66.5 billion, down from $74.6 billion in 2012. Those are significant figures because America is a big country. When compared with total figures, the fraud identified in 2016 accounted to a mere 0.9% of the total. That was up from 0.5% in 2012. Or put another way, 99% of the benefit dollars were in no way associated with fraud, assuming that the government is doing its job of identifying malfeasance. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that word. If the fraud figure continues to grow at the same rate, then there is a real problem. But so far, not so much. So do you get it? Most of the people who are on food stamps because they have no choice. If they didn't have food stamps, they would starve and they would die. So I don't understand, like, it's amazing, because I remember the segment from several years ago when on Fox News they had Bill O'Reilly interview this guy where there was this other, I don't know, hippie-looking dude who they interviewed who was basically saying, yeah, this is my life, I'm living off food stamps, that's all I gotta do. They were just focusing on one person who was committing fraud, and using that as like, oh, my gosh, people are doing fraud. We gotta cut food stamps. My gosh. And then, of course, this new requirement by the administration to have people work for food stamps. Hey, I don't know if any of you noticed, but it's hard to work if you're starving. Okay? Like seriously, you have to... It's not like... Do you really think that the majority of people on food stamps are just lazy? Like, do you really think that that's how they want to live? Like, no, okay? Like, many of them are employed, and even the ones who are actually employed, their jobs do not pay enough for them to live, okay? And it's because of this system of neoliberalism and laissez-faire capitalism that we have to have a system where people have to be on welfare even after they're working full-time at a job. So, oh man, it's really a shame that even while people are being ruined by the system, right-wingers and just a bunch of other people, like, you know, the idiots on Fox News will blame the people who were cheated by the system for their condition. Man, it's really, yeah. I just can't say anything else about it. Cutting food stamps is stupid. Making people work for receiving food stamps, or increasing the work requirements, is stupid. Shame on Donald Trump for cutting people off of food stamps. Shame on the Democrats for not speaking up about it. And shame on the idiots at Fox News who shame poor people for wanting food to eat. That's all I gotta say.